where did the idea that many of us have heard of the necessity to kill the infidels, the non-believers, how did that develop? Where did that idea come from? How did that develop over, because it's been around for a long time?
Infidels and what does Islam say about the infidels, right? I would say with all honesty, it came from Europe and from the holy wars of that time, and especially from the Crusades. That's where the idea came from. There is no concept in Islam of the infidels. Just because someone is of a different faith, them have no place in Islam. Because the Quran says, as I mentioned, there is no force in Islam for anyone to convert to Islam, number one. Number two, Quran says many times about the unity of humanity, not just the unity of the Muslims. Number three, from the examples of Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he moved from Makkah to Medina, there were many people of other faiths. He accommodated them, he gave them autonomy, he protected them, he gave them identity. If the Quran or Islam would have told him to be infidels, there would not have been any infidels in the time of Muhammad, peace be upon him. Right? Think about it. You know, Muslims were ruling Spain for 750 years. If they followed the infidels, there would not be a single Jew, Christian living up there. But when Muslims, when they were living by the Sharia in Spain, the Jewish people, they were accommodated. In fact, the golden age of Judaism was under the Muslim Spain. So the king of infidels has no place in Islam. Actually, Islam is opposing to that idea. Islam is against that idea. Saving one innocent person is like saving all of humanity. So for that reason, we have seen, especially in the Muslim Spain, when Muslims started institutions of hospitals and pharmacies and universities, people of different faiths, they used to come and take benefit from those institutions. One of those individuals was Moses Maimonides, a Jewish scholar, the best Jewish scholar ever. He's called as the second Moses. He was born in the Muslim Spain. He moved to Morocco, a Muslim country, a Muslim land. He graduated from the same university that was built by the Muslim lady. And then he moved to the Muslim Egypt to write the Jewish Mishnah. That was the commentary of the Torah. If Muslims were implementing the infidels, that story would not be there. Right now, in the Middle East, in the Egypt, there are 15 million Coptic Christians who have been Christians for about 2,000 years. And they're living there. With some aberrations here and there, they're living in peace and harmony. Some of the oldest churches still in existence are in the Muslim land. Even in Iran, there are close to like about 300, 600 churches. If the infidels was the norm or the rule of the obligation, there would not be a single Jewish person, Christian person, minority, and any one of the Muslim lands, but they are by millions. So it's a misconception propagated by people, media or any other person, has no place in Islam. Islam accommodates people of other faiths, give them rights and protection. Islam came to unify humanity. Yes, ma'am.
Do you consider yourself of a particular sect of Islam? Like the Sunni, so what is the sect if you are a part of one?
No program is complete unless and until we have that question, okay? Which is good, I was waiting for it. That doesn't mean that we are going to close the program after that question. Okay, so the question is about, what sect of Islam, or what about Sunni and Shia? Really quickly, when Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he was alive, he was the head of the state and he was also the prophet. But after he passed away, so the Quran says in chapter 33, verse number 40, that he is the last prophet. He is the seal of the prophet. No new prophet is to come. But Muslims have to elect a new head of the state. So a majority of the Muslims, they want to elect someone who is the most eligible. His name is Abu Bakr. Minority of the Muslims, they wanted to elect someone who was also eligible. He was the cousin of the Prophet and son-in-law of the Prophet. His name is Ali. Both were qualified. It so happened that the majority, they won out and they chose Abu Bakr as the first head of state. So some people, they started to label the majority as the Sunni, means following the sunnah or the path of the Prophet. or the Shia as a party of Ali, right? But the label of the Sunni and the Shia, you'll be surprised to find out that label is not given to the followers of Islam. The only label that God gave in the Quran to the follower of Islam in chapter 22, verse number 78, is the label of Muslim. The Quran says in that chapter and the verse, but both before and in this, you are called as Muslims. So Islam is the name of the religion and the followers are called as Muslims. A Muslim is someone who submits to God. So if you ask me the question, Sabeel, what sect are you? Sunni, Shia, Wahhabi, whatever, I say that I am a Muslim, right? That's the label God gave it to me. But the different groups in Islam, they're not analogous to the different groups in Christianity, Pastor. For example, I have studied some comparative religion, right? I have 300 Bibles in my collection, right? And I say that my wife is not happy about all the collection. They occupy so much space. So the concept of God in Islam is universally exactly the same of all the groups in Islam. Means we say that God is one in one. He is the alone we should worship. He is not three persons. He is not Trinity. He is one in one. But when you look at the Christian different sects, they have different concepts of God. Like for example, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't believe in Trinity. Or the Unitarians, they take Jesus only as a prophet. But Catholics and Protestants, they take concept of God as Trinity. But Islam is universally unified with the one concept of God. When it comes to the scriptures, all the Muslims, doesn't matter if you purchase a copy of the Quran in Arabic from Iran or from Saudi Arabia, US, Europe, you will have only one version of the Quran. Different translations, but only one version, the original in Arabic language. But when it comes to the Bible, right, you have different versions of the Bible. You may have the Catholic Bible with 73 books, Protestant Bibles 66 books, Greek Orthodox Bible 78 books, and different variations of that. So Muslims are all again united with one version of the Quran coming from God, protected. Number 3, all the Muslims in the world, if they ask the question, who is Muhammad, peace be upon him? They would say that he is a prophet of God, the last prophet, flesh and blood. Not God, not son of God, not divine. But when it comes to Jesus, Christians may have different concept of who Jesus was. Some may say that he's only a prophet. Jehovah's Witnesses, they say that he's not divine, he's not part of Trinity, he's only son of God. But majority of the other Christians, they may say that he's part of Trinity. He's divine, he's the son of God. So what I'm saying is that all the Muslims, universally, any country, any time, any age, we're all united in the fundamentals of Islam. And they are labeled as Muslims. They're all Muslims.